Have you ever looked at someone else's life and felt like you were falling behind? Like they're doing better, making more money, being a better parent, living a better life, and suddenly everything you are doing just doesn't feel like enough. Welcome back to Crumbcake and Chaos. I'm Carrie Shelley, mama 4 and 2 angel babies, wife, business owner, side hustle queen, chaos wrangler, currently dog mom nurse, and someone who has definitely fallen into the comparison trap more times than I'd like to count. And today, we're talking about comparison. I've said this before, and I will say it again. Social media will have you thinking everyone else has it together. Maybe they do. Maybe they worked really fucking hard for everything they have. Or maybe it's all fake. It will mess with your head if you let it. You scroll for 5 minutes and suddenly you feel like everyone else has it all together. You see the perfect house, the perfect kitchen, the perfectly decorated birthday parties, the business that's always busy, the constant wins, the growth, the success. And it starts to make you question your own life. You start thinking, why am I not there yet? What am I doing wrong? Why does it seem so easy for them? And just like that, everything you've been doing doesn't feel like enough. But here's the truth that we all forget. Social media is a highlight reel. And sometimes it is just flat out fake. You're seeing the best moments, the wins, the filtered, filtered version of someone's life. The busy days in business, AI generated posts. You're not seeing the stress, the breakdowns, the debt, the struggles, the behind the scenes, the chaos, how hard they really worked for everything they have, all their sacrifices. You are comparing your real life to someone's edited version. And if you think comparison is bad in life, it's even worse in business. Because now it's not just personal, it feels like you're falling behind financially too. You see other businesses always busy, selling out, expanding, opening new locations, posting big numbers, and constant growth. And it makes you start thinking, what am I doing wrong? And then comes the mindset that's going to keep you stuck. Must be nice. Must be nice to have that many customers. Must be nice to make that kind of money. Must be nice to grow that fast. Must be nice to have things handed to you. Must be nice to have a silver spoon. And it sounds harmless, but it's not. Because must be nice doesn't come from admiration. It comes from comparison. And let's be real, jealousy. And jealousy, ugh, it is ugly. Probably a little insecurity too. You know how they say comparison is the thief of joy? Yeah, comparison turns into resentment real fast if you're not careful. And what you're not seeing to the it must be nice is the 80-hour work week, the sleepless nights, the risk, the stress, the sacrifices, all the failures that it took to get there. The hits on their relationship with maybe their family or their spouse or their kids, the no vacations, the old car, or maybe they have a new car, but now they have to take 10 more orders or work an extra 10 hours just to pay for that car. You're only seeing the results, or again, the fake posts, not the cost. And I keep bringing that up because it's so easy to fall for the fake crap. I see it every single day on my Facebook and Instagram. I have friends and family who post things, and I have to giggle because I know what's real and what's not. Success always looks easier from the outside. And I will be honest, like I've caught myself thinking that too at one point. Must be nice. But I had to check myself. I remember when I opened my bakery and I had nothing to my name. I opened with a loan from a friend and a prayer. While someone I knew was opening their bakery at the exact same time. And they opened with $100,000 gift. And I kept thinking, man, must be nice. Here I am, busting my ass day and day and day. No security net, no 3 months of savings for payroll and rent and utilities. We're taking our personal money and pouring it into the bakery to make things work and getting behind in our bills and forgetting that forgetting to pay myself because it wasn't even an option. And here they're doing things with no worries. Well, that's not exactly true. While yes, I was struggling because honestly, I had no idea how to properly run a business. They were struggling too. That money didn't last long at all. And it ended up not being a gift. It turned into a loan because of personal things that they had going on. And then they had to pay it back. And I thought it was easy for them, but it wasn't. They had to generate business from scratch and start with no customers. I got to start, and I didn't have to worry about loans, and I didn't have to worry about customers because I already had them. It's kind of like the game of life where you start and one person ends up with like student loans and the other person goes right to work, and you got to see who has the most amount of money in the end. I didn't have that loan. So while I was sitting thinking, must be nice, what if they were looking at me thinking the same thing? Because while I was struggling, I also had it easier because I didn't have things hanging over my head. And the truth is, if you want what someone else has, you have to be willing to carry what they carried to get it. You don't just get the reward, you inherit the responsibility. Instead of saying must be nice, ask yourself, am I willing to do what it takes to get there? And sometimes the answer is no. And that's okay, because not everyone wants the same thing in life. But I don't let someone else's success make me feel like I'm failing. And you shouldn't either. You're not behind. You're just building something different. And maybe you aren't looking at them with the green eyes of envy, but you're still comparing your success. And remember, you don't know. You don't know how long it took them to get there. You don't know what they sacrificed, what they're struggling with behind the scenes, or what it's actually costing them. And the cost isn't always money. But you'll sit there looking at a 10-second post and questioning everything that you've already built or you're currently building. And that's the danger of comparison. It doesn't show you the full picture, but it makes you feel like you're losing anyway. You're comparing your real life to someone else's highlight reel. And I've done this. I'm telling you, I still catch myself every once in a while. I've got some tight-knit competitors. You're seeing other businesses growing faster, busier, selling out, expanding. And it makes you feel like, what am I doing wrong? You don't see their debt and their stress and their struggles, their behind the scenes chaos. Just because someone is ahead of you doesn't mean you are behind or that it's real. I'm going to keep drilling that in. I know so many businesses that post non-stop, deliberate, big, award-winning posts. And you look at their business and you think, man, they must be doing great. They opened a second location. Well, guess what? It closed. They opened a kiosk or a food truck or opened a second business, a whole second business. And then they all failed. And maybe they all failed for different reasons. But you're over here thinking, holy crap, they must be doing great because they have all this money to do all these things. And really, they're just throwing anything and everything at the wall to see what sticks because they're drowning in their business. They are drowning in their mental state. And before you know it, their business has completely shut down, where they close everything. And you're still standing. So now who's better off? And if you think comparison hits hard in business, it hits even harder when you become a mom. Because now it's not just about success. It's about your kids. You go to these school events, sports, dance class, and you see the moms who look like they have it all together. Hair done, nails, outfits put together, snacks are packed, on time, calm, and you're over here like, did I even brush my hair today? You ever seen the movie Bad Moms? It's kind of like that. And then it starts. Am I doing enough? Am I present enough? Am I messing this up? And here comes the worst part. Mom guilt. Mom guilt will have you feeling like you are failing, even when you're doing everything you can. You feel guilty for working. You feel guilty when you're not working. You feel guilty when you're tired. You feel guilty when you need a break. It's like no matter what you do, it never feels like it's enough. Good moms don't feel like they're doing enough even when they are. But here's what we don't see when we're comparing ourselves to other moms. You don't see their bad days because they have them. You don't see their stress because they have it. You don't see their struggles. You don't see their moments of feeling overwhelmed. They're just really good at hiding it. You're seeing a snapshot of their reality. You have no idea what goes on behind closed doors. And I have been there trying to run a business, taking care of my kids, trying to keep everything together, and still feeling like I'm falling short somewhere or everywhere. But the truth is, there's no perfect mom or dad. There's just moms and dads doing their best with what they have. You have to reframe the guilt. Your kids don't need perfect. They need love, presence, effort. And you're already giving that, or at least I hope so. Your kids don't see your flaws the way you do. So before you compare yourself to another mom, remember this. You're not failing. You're just human. Keep showing up for them, whether they are 2 or 42. Let them know You are there no matter what. Call them, check on them, support them, and love them. Because that means more than you know. And comparison doesn't just mess with your mindset, it can mess with your money too. You see people online, or your family, or your friends, they're getting new houses, new cars, they're going on vacations, they've got designer bags, they got some Jordans, they've got big upgrades. And it starts to feel like you should be there too. Pressure builds. So what do people do? They start spending money they don't have to keep up with people that they don't even know half the time. Keeping up with the Joneses will keep you broke. Because now you're not spending based on your life and budget, you're spending based on someone else's life and budget. You're spending based on someone else's timeline, on their income, on their priorities, on their wants and needs. You don't know what they owe. You don't know what they're stressed about. You don't know what they're sacrificing or what their life actually looks like behind the scenes. You also don't know what has just been given to them. But you're going to go into debt trying to match what they have. Looking rich and being financially stable are two very, very different things. And it happens in business too. People expand too fast, they spend too much money, they upgrade too soon. Not because they're ready, but because they feel like they have to. Or this is when so and so did it, so it's my time, right? And now, instead of building something sustainable, they're building something stressful. I'd rather build something real than something that just looks good online. Success is not the biggest house, the newest car, the flashiest life. Success is peace, stability, freedom, being able to breathe. A quiet, stable life will always beat a loud, stressful one. Remember that when it comes to toxic family, too. Stop trying to keep up with people who aren't living your life. Because the cost of that is way too high. And this is where comparison really starts to do damage. It doesn't just make you notice what other people have, it makes you feel like you're failing. You could be building your business, showing up for your kids, trying your best every day, and still feel like you're falling short. You start thinking, I should be further ahead. I should have more by now. I should be doing better. The girl on the internet lost 100 pounds in 7 months. Why haven't I? And that word right there, should, will ruin your peace if you let it. Comparison turns progress into failure. Because instead of looking at how far you've come, you focus on how far you think you should be. And that gap, that's where frustration lives. You could be doing everything right, making progress, building something meaningful, and still feel like it's not enough. Not because you're actually failing, but because you're measuring your life against someone else's. Ask yourself this hard truth. Are you working as hard as they are? Are you as dedicated as they are? Maybe they don't have as many distractions as you do. Just because you're doing it slower doesn't mean you're not doing it. You're not behind. You're just comparing. And you also don't know their starting point. You don't know their timeline. You don't know their struggles. You don't know their strengths. You don't know their dedication. You don't know their determination. You don't know how hungry they are for it. You don't know if they're in survival mode and they have to have it. You don't know how much faith and prayer they've put into it. But you're using their life as a standard for yours. And that is exhausting. Think about all the energy that you're wasting that you could be putting into bettering yourself or your kids or your business. Because no matter what you do, it will never feel like enough if you keep comparing to other people. And here's the truth. You're not supposed to live someone else's life. You're supposed to build your own at your own pace, in your own way, on your own timeline. And how do you actually stop comparing? Let's be real. It is not as simple as just saying, don't do it. Be aware of it. Be aware of it. Be aware of it. All my words are just. The first step is just catching it. When you feel that thought come in, I'm behind, I should be further, stop and ask yourself, am I comparing right now? Control what you see. Not everything deserves access to your mind. If someone you're seeing online makes you feel less than, behind, not enough, it is okay to mute it. It is okay to unfollow it. If it makes you feel less than, it is not helping you. Protect your peace more than you protect your habits. I mute people all the time. Focus on your own lane. You can't build your life if you're constantly watching someone else's. Stay in your lane. Your growth happens in your lane, not theirs. And track your progress. This goes for anything in life, weight loss especially. Instead of comparing yourself to someone else, compare yourself to who you were 6 months ago, a year ago, 5 years ago. That's the only comparison that actually matters. Keeping a journal of where you're at and how you're feeling and a gratitude journal will change your life. Remember the full picture. You don't know what someone else's life actually looks like. And even if you did, you might not want it. Define success for you, because success does not have one look. It's not just money. It's not just growth. It's not just what people see online. It is peace, stability, freedom, time with your family, money. Maybe success to you is a house. Maybe success to your mom is married with grandchildren. You don't know. Success is whatever makes your life feel good, not just look good. You don't need to be ahead of anyone else. You just need to keep going. Comparison will make you feel like you're losing even when you're winning, especially if you're a small business comparing yourself to big businesses like Walmart, Target, Amazon. It will make you question your progress, your worth, your life. But the truth is, you're not behind. You're just building something different at a different pace, in a different way. And that's okay. Stay in your lane, because that's where your life is. Their success doesn't take away from yours. Be grateful for what you have and what you've accomplished. Keep pushing and keep growing. And if you guys ever have questions or need advice, or you just need someone to talk to, send me a message, leave me a comment. I'm always here to help. Thanks for being part of the chaos, my chaos with me. And remember, when life gets crummy, you've always got something to look forward to, because those crumbs are pretty sweet. Have a great day, guys. Stay in your lane.